My name is Drew Shepter-Ravis. I'm a citizen and cultural ambassador of the Pocomoke Indian Nation. And I'm interpreting today Algonquian life during the 1770s. So I have objects of daily life, trade, and since it's Harvest Festival, we also have foodways.
Hey, I'm John, and we're out here playing some colonial games. We've got Skittles, and he's working on a buzzsaw over there.
Hello, my name is John Koopman. I'm portraying George Washington. Who you see before you is my horse. His name is Bear, but he's portraying Nelson. So throughout the war, Washington rode many horses, but primarily there were two. One was named Blueskin, that's the white horse, but the favorite was Nelson, because the chestnut, because Blueskin had a fearful of the cannon fire, whereas Nelson was very stable and very solid. And Washington was mounted on Nelson when he accepted the surrender of the British Army at Yorktown. When Washington returned to Mount Vernon, saddle was never put on their backs, either one. They both survived the war unscathed, but they never worked again. They would just live the rest of their lives in ease and reward for their hard service for their country.
We're the Yonkers Historical Society, and one of our main projects is maintaining Sherwood House, which you can see from this flyer, is a tenant farmhouse built around 1740 on the Philipse Manor.
And the Yonkers Historical Society's mission is to preserve the history of Yonkers. So the restoration project, the Yonkers Sherwood House, is our main project, but we also maintain an archives of all things that we can collect that reflect on Yonkers history. Sherwood House is open seasonally on Sunday afternoons in the fall and in the spring. We're closed during the winter and we're closed during the hottest part of the summer. But it is actual Yonkers history. It was built in 1740, and this was on a farm that they rented from the Philipse family. So we were tenants at Sherwood House of the Philipse family, and they paid rent. So that when they farmed, they had to make money as well to be able to pay their rent. And they paid rent once a year.
Hi, I'm Susan Seal. I'm the president of Odell House Rochambeau headquarters. Our museum, we hope, will be open in October of 2025. And what we have today are just some of the wonderful things that we found in the house. We found antique toasters, old foot warmers. This is a checkerboard that the troops might have used with flattened musket balls as checker pieces. There are a lot of other things, and it's going to be a wonderful museum for all ages.
Hi, we are here representing St. Paul's National Historic Site. We're a national park in Mount Vernon, and we were the first church in the town of Eastchester.
Okay, so my name is Kevin Chapman, and I am a living history interpreter with an LLC called Living History Co. And what we do is we staff and cast events at different venues, including here at the Philipse Manor, for African American reenactors. I'm also a member of the 1st Rhode Island Regiment Reenactors, which portrays one of the few predominantly African American regiments that served in the Continental Line during the Revolutionary War. And I also am part of the 6th United States Colored Troops, which is one of 11 regiments of black soldiers that served out of Camp William Penn during the Civil War as well. And today I am portraying a member of the 1st Rhode Island Regiment, like I said, which is the predominantly African American regiment. And I'm wearing the uniform that they would have worn around the year 1781 when they made their famous march down to Yorktown, Virginia. So I'm wearing the wave cap with the anchor and hope, representing Rhode Island, the Rhode Island motto. I also have some beautiful feather plumes in my hat as well. It's very decorative. The hat makes me look a little bit bigger than what I am. I'm also wearing a traditional frock coat that a lot of Americans would have wore. This was really a lot of psychological warfare because a lot of times British troops associated this with rifled musket carrying marksmen. but I just carried a regular musket, smoothbore musket like anybody else. I'm also wearing some gaitered trousers as well, which would have been common for this regiment. You would have seen us in different photos with that. And I also have my musket pick here, which would have been used to be able to clean my musket if it became fouled. I've got my bayonet scabbard with the anchor representing Rhode Island as well. And I have my cartridge box here, which is where I would have kept my cartridges with black powder and musket balls.
My name's Eric Paul. I'm a woodworking demonstration joinery of the 18th century. I join wood in 3 ways. Dovetail, which is corners. Shiplap, which is edge to edge, like these pieces of wood. And then angles, where you would make, for instance, a door. So that's called mortise and tenon. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm Constance Keogh. I'm the president of Revolutionary Westchester 250, and this is all about becoming 250th anniversary of the founding of the country. So there's a lot of interest in the Revolutionary War. So much happened in Westchester, and one of the great places to find out about it is right here at Philipse Manor Hall. We love it.
This is an apple press that was used during colonial times. In this bin, we put in the apples, and then we manually grind, and then the crushed apples fall down here, and then we have a press, we press it, and that's what they drank. And nothing went to waste. The apples were used for fertilizer, and New York State is known for their apples. And under a Philipse family, tenants were required to, I believe, 40 trees they had to plant.
Hi, I'm Tom, and welcome to 18th century food preservation. And we're talking about the different ways to preserve your food in the 18th century without a refrigerator or canning or anything like that. So we're currently doing a demo of making sauerkraut and dried apples. We're talking about ship's biscuits, they came to be later known as hardtack. We've got salt pork, which is pork that has been salted amazingly, and that will last you about a year. These ship's biscuits, they're about 5 or 6 years old, and they're still good to eat, but you have to soak them in something. Yes, they're a horrendous food. And we've got apple cider vinegar, hard cider. So there's all these different iterations of the food processes, and they're all edible.
My name is Leon Vaughn. I'm portraying a Marbleheaders. Those were the fishermen from around Marblehead, Massachusetts, that helped George Washington get across water. Because when the Continental Army was first formed, Washington did not have a navy. There were some private men off the coast with their own private schooners, and they were harassing the English Navy. My group helped Washington get across water the first time after the Battle of Long Island, when the British Army had forced Washington backed up to the East River, about where the Manhattan Bridge is now, and they had them there for about 2 days. Then the British Army said, well, we'll get up and capture them in the morning. That night, the word went out, and some men from Washington's army went up and down Manhattan Island, and they confiscated every boat that they could find and brought them back to that location. And that night, they ferried Washington's army across the East River. The English Navy could not come up the river because it was very foggy, and the weather conditions and the current was not in their advantage. So that night, when the Marbleheaders ferried Washington's army across the river, you know, when you row a boat, it's very noisy. So the Marbleheaders put rags on the oarlocks to make the rowing much quieter. When the British Army came to his camp in the morning to capture him, they only captured 3 men, and they were captured because they had stayed behind to loot the camp. And that's the first time the Marblehead has saved Washington's army.